Ocean currents. The third type of movement that takes place in the oceans is known as an ocean current. Streams of water move along the surface of the ocean in definite paths. Such more or less permanent streams of water which flows in a definite direction from one part of the ocean to the other are called ocean currents. Ocean currents can be thousands of kilometers in length and sometimes about 200 kilometers wide. Currents that originate near the equator and flow towards the poles are called warm currents, and those which originate in the high altitudes and flow towards the equator are called cold currents. Ocean currents are generally named after the regions along which they flow. The warm ocean current flowing along the Brazilian coast is called the Brazilian current, and the cold current flowing along the Labrador coast is known as the Labrador current. Ocean currents are powered by the wind system of the world. The wind systems of the world force the surface water of the oceans to move in a particular direction. A surface current of warm and light water flows from the equatorial region towards the polar region, and a cold current flows from the cold polar regions to the warm equatorial region. The prevailing winds lend speed and direction to a mass of water. Ocean currents in the northern hemisphere deflect to the right of the wind direction, and currents in the southern hemisphere deflect to the left. Therefore, there is a clockwise circulation of water in the northern hemisphere and an anti-clockwise circulation in the southern hemisphere. This is a Coriolis effect caused due to the rotation of the earth. Surface motion of prevailing winds drives the subsurface layer at an angle to it. Each layer moves at a slower speed than the one above it and at a greater angle from the wind. The spiral thus created has the overall effect of moving the water mass above the depth of frictional resistance at an angle of about 900 from the wind direction. This is called a Coriolis effect. The temperatures are higher at the equator than at the poles. Hence, water in the oceans near the equatorial regions gets heated more than the one in the oceans near the poles. This unequal heating sets up convectional currents in the ocean. Warm waters of the equatorial regions are light and move along the surface towards the polar regions, where they are cooled, while the cold water is dense and heavy. It sinks downwards from the surface and moves slowly towards the equator, where on warming up it may rise to the surface again.